In the end, you will walk out. Because 100,000 Englishmen simply cannot control 350 million Indians if those Indians refuse to cooperate.
On the day that was declared, I remember that at night I stayed awake, listening to the radio, listening to Nehru's and Jinnah's speeches. But we didn't participate in the celebrations the next day, which was August the 15th. We did not participate in those. I did hoist the Congress flag on my house because at that time we were still in India. But I didn't feel good about hoisting it. But we hoisted it upside down with the green stripe on top. The best thing would have been a united India, with Muslims and Hindus deciding to live together. But that was not to happen. The British decided to partition the country. My attitude was that the Muslims should have been able to make their own laws, and if that was possible in India, well and good. If it was not possible in India, then the only answer was dividing up the country. The lines that were drawn, nobody had dreamed that these would be the lines. They had thought that the whole of Punjab would be in Pakistan, the whole of Bengal would be in Pakistan, Bengal and everything east, Punjab and everything west. That is what generally people thought. But they divided Punjab into two, they divided Bengal into two. I remember a class fellow of mine, when I told him that, look, we have got Pakistan, his response was, you have got Pakistan, but you've got a truncated and moth-eaten Pakistan. That is what I remember. That's Bombay, right above my finger. You can read it. And there's Calcutta on the other side of the subcontinent. Now we live in Karachi.
And Ludhiana is not on this map, is it?
Well, it's not on this map, but it's somewhere here. That's Punjab, Eastern Punjab, Indian Punjab. We came to Pakistan in March or April of 1948. Most of the Muslims living in those Bengal and Punjab decided to move over to Pakistan. Those in Punjab moved over to the western part, and those in Calcutta and parts of eastern India moved over to East Pakistan. My father didn't discuss with me, but he discussed it with his wife and with his brothers. And they decided that it was best for us to move to Karachi. He didn't discuss it with me, no. I didn't give much thought to that. I said, if they're deciding we move to Karachi, then we move to Karachi. That's it. He at that time thought that the business would not be able to survive for the next couple of years in what was then India. There was a social boycott of the Muslims. The Hindus stopped patronizing Muslim shops, that kind of thing. So then we packed up everything, put some stuff on ships, and we flew over to Karachi. At that time, you had those, Constellation was a small plane compared to today's planes. So it took about 6 or 7 hours to come from Calcutta to Karachi. I remember that when we looked down, when we were flying over Karachi, it looked just like its map, the street lights. It was night time. We took the bus from the airport, the airline bus, to the town office. And from there, we moved directly to a hotel. And then we stayed at the hotel for about, I don't know, about 2 or 3 weeks. And then my father hired a flat close by, about 3 or 4 blocks from the hotel. And we moved there. Karachi was a very small city, very clean city. They used to water the streets every day, wash them, and it was a small, clean, small town. The feeling was much better, but you know, we had just left school, we were going to a new school. It was strange, but we felt we are now in a place where we are going to live for the next part of our lives. At that time, I didn't know that I would be going to Kuwait or going to England or going to America. I didn't even think about that. Later on, I realized that those were hard times. After we moved from the flat to Las Vegas, Then I decided that they were hard times. Financially, my father did not have any good business going. Yeah, he had to start from scratch. He started the cloth business, trying to sell cloth. After he got to Karachi, the business never really took off. So I think in 1951, we left the flat and we moved to Las Vegas, where we are now living. At that time, it was supposed to be the edge of town. Now it's the center of Karachi. So we moved to that house, and that's where my father died. My mother was not working. The loss of his business, not being able to start a successful business in Karachi, the income going down steadily, all that. But no, he didn't regret coming over to Pakistan. He didn't regret his decision to move to Karachi. But the events that happened in Karachi after that, those brought him down. I started working for the government, and that turned out quite well because they sent me to Kuwait. Then we came back to Karachi, and all of a sudden the income dropped. And I said, well, we can't make ends meet with this lower salary. So I started looking around. At that time, the American embassy was in Karachi. And they offered me a job which was about 5 times what I was making. So I decided to take it. That was in, I think, 1960 or 61. And it was time for the children to go to college. So I started making investigation, and the kids were quite intelligent. Everything was fine. But they used to say, when I went for the admission, they used to tell me that you are known as being a Jamaat-e-Islami supporter, so we cannot help you. You can try in some other college. At that time, I decided that it's time to move to America. So then I started investigating the possibilities of moving to America, and I was told that you need 20 years of service with the American government before you can get a permanent visa. So I started reading that law, and that law said that in 17 years you are eligible. After 20 years, there's no reason why you should not be, but after 17 you can apply. So I spoke to my boss. I said, look, this is the situation. My children are not getting admission in college, and I just have to go. So he said, okay, you submit an application and we'll see. So I wrote them, but then he recommended it. The ambassador recommended it. Then it went down, it had to go to the administrative officer. He recommended it. Then it went to the consular officer. He said, this person has already been to the United States, we have repaid him, there's no need for us to give him a visa. So that came back to me with his notation. So I spoke to my boss. I said, look what he said. He said, forget about what he has written. I've written to Washington directly. And that came back, yes. Yusuf had moved from Saudi Arabia to England. He wanted to go to America. I had arranged for him, but then he decided to stay in England. And he got married. He had you, he had Shola. Hello. This is the Institute of Islamic and Arabic Sciences in America. This one. When I first came here for a couple of weeks, I visited some friends, and I had decided in Karachi that I was going to study computers when I got here. At that time, I too had a lot of money. So I took a mission in the Computer Learning Center. I passed their exams, and then I applied for a job with 3 or 4 different companies. I got a job with Sigma Data. It took about 2 or 3 months when I had nothing to do, so I took a job at the World Bank as a security guard. So when Sigma Data finally sent me the appointment letter asking whether I still wanted to join them, I said yes. So the World Bank said, well, you can work here Saturdays. I said, no, I'm not going to work here at all. I'm going to rest on Saturdays and Sundays. So then I started working for computers, and since then I've been working with computers right up to 91 when I retired from Raytheon.
Everybody look! Everybody!
Well, the white one, it's like...
Look at the camera!
It's like white.
Say hi. Say hi to the camera.
Hi.
You've been filmed.
Peek out! Yo!